Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Owoleke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. I have a message on Twitter that I want to share with you. It's on what's his name, Shehu Sani. So Shehu Sani's Twitter, or rather X page. I think he wrote it. And I think I've made some monologues in the past concerning Shehu Sani. And for those of you who've been following me, you will know my opinion about him lately. And if you are not, if you are new to this, then hang on and you will eventually find out my opinion about him. Now, Shehu Sani, for those of you who may not know him, he was one time senator, and he resides in Kaduna State of Nigeria. And he is a social activist, social and human rights activist. I think during the Abacha era, the military era, he was among those, together with Tinubu and co, who actually protested against the military. He was incarcerated that period for some time. So and that is it. And those are the period that's the period actually he earned my respect. And I've always respected him until recently, when he started. I don't know, especially on the global angle, his mindset, his opinions concerning the global politics and other stuff or whatever. He seemed to be getting it wrong, and why I am categorical about using that word is careful in using that word is because wrong can, whichever way you want to paint it. Yes, I understand we all are different human beings, different strokes for different folks. One man's poison is another. One man's food is another man's poison, and I know all that. But the truth is that there are certain position that I can just that I do not expect anyone to have a different coloration, a different definition, or a different opinion to that. When evil, just like evil, the devil is always the devil. Evil is always evil. So no matter where you stand in your opinion as a human being, it doesn't stop. It doesn't take evil away. It doesn't take evil away from being evil, and it doesn't take good away from being good. And that is just the reality. I'm always on the side of good, and some of you will ask, what makes you think that my own side is a good side? Well, the truth is, good, it doesn't need anyone to tell you that it is good. In fact, let me be frank with you. Even those people with contrary opinion who calls evil good, they know within themselves, they know that what they are saying or their opinion is wrong, but they project a different thing to the public for several reasons. It could be for selfish, it could be for ideological reason, or for personal financial reason, or financial gains, or some other gains, or whatever. So there are several reasons there are several reasons to people who actually are supposed to be calling evil good, are supposed to be calling evil. Instead, they are calling it good. Several reasons lead to such thing, but honestly, in my own assumption and conclusion, that's just the reality. And evil is evil. You just can't paint it the other way around. No matter where your opinion or whatever, it doesn't change what is evil. Another, that brings me back to what the topic of this monologue. As I said, it's from Shehu Sani. I started losing respect from him lately. He's been posting some things about opinion, global stuff, that personal opinion about global stuff that I just don't understand. It is irrational to me. It doesn't make sense to me. That's the right word. It doesn't make sense, especially coming from his angle. He's a civilized, educated man. a man that have probably have seen all. So for him to, there are some sides I don't expect him to be taking, other than all the reasons I just mentioned, or even some I can't mention right now. A sort of let's start. If Trump wins the presidency, these are the categories of people or institutions that will suffer. Now, if you have not, if you didn't watch my monologue on my last monologue on Shehu Sani, I think you want to hear this. But if you followed that, if you watched that, you obviously know that Shehu Sani, the starting point is, he is critical of Donald Trump. He does not want Donald Trump to win. He prefers Kamala Harris, who is dumb and doesn't have anything in her skull. Excuse me. Now, I repeat, if Trump wins the presidency, these are the categories of people or institutions that will suffer. One, Africans who want to immigrate to the US. Now, I'll take this thing point by point. He had about 10 listed 10 things. Africans who want to migrate to I don't understand, why are people dignifying, exalting other countries to the detriment of our country or their country? I expect Shehu Sani, instead of having to fight for immigrant people from Nigeria, from African countries, traveling, migrating to US, I expect him to fight the government, the African governments, and specifically Nigerian government, to do the right thing. Because you first of all ask, in the early 80s, where Nigerians, I remember traveling abroad those days, or relocating abroad those days, was based on either education or something more important, not for poverty purpose, not for a kind of desperation. There are so many, because then there was a time, I think about 80, 81, a dollar was to 50 kobo. Or 50 kobo to a dollar. That is just the reality. So tell me, why will Nigerians be traveling to the US for greener pasture when they are making it's better? Our currency was stronger even then. And eventually, I think around 83, 84, it became a dollar to a one. A dollar to a naira. So, and people became desperate to travel out to the US and to the other Western countries for greener pastures, for desperation purpose, for the purpose of poverty. For the purpose of growth because of poverty. And so that is just the reality. So I expect him, instead of why should Africans or Nigerians depend on the US to survive? Why should Nigerians depend on the Western government to survive? So what I expect Shehu Sani to be doing here is to actually fight and hope that the African countries begin to do well. Their leaders should be held to account for their bad leadership, and the African countries, especially Nigeria, should strive to get the right leaders installed. Instead of this, whatever, what is your problem? I don't understand what that has to do with your will the US do something, or a kind of a push agenda that favors Nigeria, or the one that favors US? Look, you have to be realistic, my dear. You just have to be, at least make sense sometimes. Then number two, okay, you mentioned migrants from South America. Migrants from South America, why are you crying more than the beauty? What's your problem? You see, the same issue. I'll give the same answer as that of number one. People from Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, name them. Southern America, American countries. For God's sake, you should advocate for the leaders of those countries to lead their countries, their respective countries, the right way. Again, the reason why Africans are migrating to the US is the same reason why the South American country citizens are migrating to the US as well, because of poverty, because of deprivations, so many stuff. Things are not working out for excuse me, for them. That is why they are migrating. So what I expect you to do? What's your problem? Why has that? What has that got to do with what is happening in our respective countries back home? For God's sake, you should be talking about government of those countries to do well, and even discourage their citizens from traveling to migrate somewhere else, because migrating to another country is building. You seem not to understand this. Shehu Sani, I don't understand how you think sometimes. You should understand that migrating, if you promoting migration from Nigeria to other countries, means you are promoting the building of those countries against Nigeria, to the detriment of Nigeria as the Nigerian country. For God's sake, we should rather work for us to stay back home. That is what you should be talking about. Number 3, the UN and its agencies. Oh my God. Again, UN, honestly, if I had my way, honestly, UN would be scrapped, abolished. US is useless. Sorry, UN. United Nations is useless. United Nations is biased. The United Nations is corrupt. United Nations stinks. They are useless. What is their usefulness? Apart from that, what role is the African countries playing at the United Nations? No. They relegated African countries to the background. They call the shots. All few 5 permanent members are the ones that call the shots. And what is happening? The thing is, even everything that happens at the UN happens based on bias, complete bias. Look at what their bias against Israel. Clear-cut bias, including the Secretary General of the institution, has been unapologetically and clearly biased against Israel, spoken against, criticized Israel in several angles. And they have so many United Nation bodies or whatever. UNRWA, that's United Nations Woman. I've forgotten UNRWA, right? I can't remember the definition of that. United Nations bodies, they are there. They are supporting. They even in the US and in Israel, they support terrorist organizations to kill Israelites or Israelis. For God's sake, United Nations was formed for the purpose of being a mediating body, a body where everybody will converge. If you have concerns and worries and quarrels and anything of misunderstanding, you go there and dish out your case, table your case, and everybody will come together and judge things fairly. Judge every matter fairly and squarely. Not that. So, number 4, Chinese businesses with the US. I don't understand. What is your problem with Chinese business? Of course, we want Chinese businesses with the US to be gone. Chinese is killing this country, killing the US. Chinese interest here is inimical. It is treacherous to the country's interest. And that is just the reality. Yes. So I don't understand what is your own here. Of course, Chinese, nobody knows. I mean, the true Americans, the patriotic Americans, they detest Chinese interest in this country. And nobody should want or love Chinese interest. Chinese interest is already ravaging the entire African continent. So number 5, US, Iran, and Cuba relations. Of course, what do you expect? Iran, a monster. Okay, the Iranian people are beautiful people, are good people. Some of them I've met some of them on my sites, and they are warm, great people. But the problem they have is just like the same problem we have in Nigeria: bad leadership. The Ayatollah is just plunging that country into nonsense, into chaos. The same issue we have in Nigeria. So why should the US, with such leadership, why should the US have good relationship with, with the Iranian leadership, not the Iranian people, the leadership? Why? Doesn't make sense. And Cuba, the same issue. They have the same issue, bad leadership. Why should the US build good or have a good relationship with Cuba when they have monstrous leaders? That is it. Then number 6, European countries and the US. Of course, European countries, what do you expect? European countries have gone woke. They have gone woke. You look at the whole Britain, for God's sake, UK, to jail someone for posting posting something on Facebook, just at least that giving out free speech on Facebook, writing something that is supposed to be based on free speech. Free speech again. We no longer have free speech in the West. They are just squeezing and muzzling and taking oxygen away from free speech in the entire West. The West, the European Union, now they are threatening Elon Musk, his ex, from shutting it down or banning it or whatever, just because Elon Musk decided to release his platform for free speech, to just air your view. Anything you think about, just go ahead and say that. These are personal opinions. What has that got to do with anything? Anything that is detrimental to, of course, it has to do with a lot of detrimental to the interest of the West, because they don't want the truth. They abhor the truth. They are taking oxygen away from the truth being revealed. And so that is just it. So I don't get it. What is the European Union is just in a mess right now. Their policies are in a mess, except Italy, that is now, because a right-wing government has been elected. So Italy is relatively doing well. The lady there is doing superb work, trying to turn the policies away from the woke policies. Huh? So that is just it. EU's, they don't have integrity now. They are nonsense, as far as I'm concerned. So we have Arab-US relations. Now, Arab-US relation, I don't see anything. The Arab-US relation will improve under Donald Trump. That's just the reality. It will improve because the Arab nation, they love Donald Trump. The 4 years of Donald Trump, there was peace, not relative peace. There was silent peace. There was peace. In the history of the West, we never had a sense of peace as we had it under Donald Trump 4 years as United States president. And as a result, we had a history making rather. Situation where Israel actually signed peace treaty with some of its arch enemies, Bahrain, UAE, Kuwait, and whatever. That is what I think they call that peace accord, Abraham Accord. And they were the same under Donald Trump. They laid the foundation to actually having an established peace with Saudi Arabia. In fact, under Donald Trump, Saudi Arabia, they started flying for the history of air transport. The first time Israeli planes started landing in Saudi Arabia, having direct flight from Tel Aviv, from Israeli airports to Saudi Arabia under Donald Trump. So under Donald Trump, the relationship U.S. relationship with the Eastern countries, Middle Eastern countries, will be the best. It was the best, and if he comes back, it will be the best. They love him. So, and that is just it. And there will be peace again in the Middle East. So Donald Trump is a good omen to the Middle East and bad omen to the bad people and the evil people in the Middle East. So there is nothing wrong there. Then number 8, U.S. obligations to international treaties. Now, this issue of obligation to international treaties, most of these treaties are evil. They are bad treaties. They are treaties that are detrimental to the interest of the U.S. and exploitative from the Western angle. Other countries just go on rampage exploiting the U.S. So under liberal government, just like the West, just like the Middle East, under current Joe Biden, Democrat or liberal government, look at what is happening in the Middle East. The Middle East relationship with the Middle Eastern countries' relationship with the US has never been this worse. Worse. They do no longer trust. They don't no longer trust US because of this nonsense. Joe Biden is weak. The Democrat Party is weak. They pander to the West. They pander to the woke policies. But Donald Trump is the opposite. The reverse is the case with Donald Trump. And the same thing is happening with all these the international treaties. Or international treaties. When Donald Trump came in as the president during his 4 years, he sifted the wheat from the chaff. All those treaties and agreements with as regard to so many others or whatever, he decided to keep what benefits the US. And the other ones that are exploitative to the US interest, he discarded them. And that is just it. That is just it. That is what a true leader is. Patriotism. That is just what a true leader is. Number 9, human stroke environmental rights. What human right are we talking about? Or environmental right are we talking about? Human rights all over the world. Shehu Sani, you're a human rights activist. Can't you see all over the world? In China, do we have human rights going on there? In Saudi, Middle East, do you have human rights going on there? In Africa, in Nigeria, where you are, do you have human rights going on there? We have governments all over the world. They are muzzling, squeezing people, taking energy away from the populace, depriving people of free speech, incarcerating their political, even in the US. Is that not what they are doing against Donald Trump? Trying to incarcerate their their rivals politically. You are talking what human environment and environmental right? What environmental right are you talking about? Why can't you hold China? China is the worst environmentally environmentally anemic to the world. Is the enemy of environment. Look at their manufacturing. What are you talking about? Who pollutes the air worse? China is the worst polluter of air. And yeah, you are talking about whatever. So that is just the Ukraine. Number 10, Ukraine dependence on US. Why should a country depend on another country for survival? Shehu Sani, you should know more than that. You should be better than this. Why should a sovereign country depend on, and that is why I am so angry, so vexed that Nigeria depends on IMF and depends on the West for survival. This is crazy. We as Nigerians and Nigeria as a country, we have everything we have everything it takes to be even better than some of these Western countries. All we need is to get the right leadership. Force the corrupt leadership out of the country, out of leadership and out of the country. Some of them need to be banished and banished forever if they cannot be killed. And so that is just the reality. So why should Ukraine be depending on whatever? Ukraine is a very huge country, very huge country. They have a lot of potential. They have what it takes to be independent of anyone. Not to talk of US. So all they need to do is to do the right thing and stop pandering to liberal governments and woke governments in the East, in the West, especially the US. So all these things, number 1 to 10 list, should Donald Trump win the election, and it's not even should, he will. There's no doubt. This dumb of Kamala Harris cannot. It will be a shame and disgrace on the US for somebody like Kamala Harris to be the one to defeat Donald Trump. A political juggernaut, a timber and caliber of the real politics. Because he has all the pedigree, everything, all the qualities, the top-notch A+ qualities to actually be the president. And yet, someone want to tell me that someone like the dumbest presidential candidate we've ever had will come and outstage Donald Trump. Hell no! All these polls are fake polls. All of them are fake polls. The real poll will come out, and that real poll will prove all these polls wrong, massively wrong. So the advent of the coming back of Donald Trump will spell positive to all these things that Shehu Sani listed here, from number 1 to 10. And that is just it, because Donald Trump, like in Africa, Donald Trump will hold African leaders to account. Because that is, he's a believer, or he's a nationalist. So he believes that his country should be his country and other countries should be their country. He doesn't believe in globalism, which is wrong. Why should we have a global system of government where just few cabals dictate what happens in every country, other countries? This is crazy. So with a person like Donald Trump, of course, someone with Donald Trump wouldn't have supported a criminal like Tinubu to be our president, to be installed as president, because he was installed, he wasn't elected. Donald Trump couldn't have accepted or supported that. So that is why we need somebody like him. So him being the president, it will bring order to the world. It will bring order to other countries. He will actually devolve powers, the global powers, to respective countries. He will encourage the other countries, all the weak countries, encourage their leaders, the other countries, to be independent of them, of the US, which is good for them, good for us all. So Shehu Sani, stop posting nonsense, stop giving out some myopic, shallow thoughts or opinion. That is crazy. Donald Trump's presidency will spell very, very positive to the world. It will make the globe a place to live again. And that is just it. He will do the right thing. He will go after the evil people and evil leaders. He will sideline them. He will isolate them. And he will not be an interventionist. He will not impose the American system, American way of life on other countries. He has done that in the past 4 years. So Donald Trump has a record to reference. So he's not that kind of a person. He will not be the one to dictate to weak countries what president, who to elect and who to be installed. Neither, especially when supporting, not even to talk about supporting them, sponsoring candidates for them. So Shehu Sani should go and sit down, please, and allow the right thing, good, to prevail. Because everything for, especially this year, all you have been posting, most of the things you post about global politics is just out there. It's woke. They're all woke. That's unbelievable. And this is my angle.